The hero's journey in high-ticket sales. How was I able to take 5 high-ticket closers, one including myself, to all earning over $100,000 a month in commissions? Trained Alex Hormozi's old gym launch sales team, getting salespeople to close $1 million a month single-handedly. The answer is the hero's journey. If you've not heard of this before, it is archetypal. It is spiritual. It is something beyond any script, any word track, anything that you will see in any other sales training program. I run the Unicorn Closer Mastermind for salespeople that are in the minority, that are in the small group of individuals that the greatest thing they are looking to accomplish is to earn life-changing money, but they've drawn a line in the sand that the way they want to achieve that is by becoming the next level version of themselves. How does that happen? On the hero's journey that you're going to discover inside this private training. This was a private training I did for the members of the Unicorn Closer Mastermind to show them what it's really going to take if they want to earn $100,000 a month in commissions, and more importantly, if they want to realize their full potential. If you watch it in full, you will never be the same again. The greatest freedom that you can unlock as a high-ticket closer is by going on your hero's journey. Let's crack in. All right, folks, what is going on? If you are new to the mastermind, welcome aboard. We start off these calls with some wins. Anthony, let's rock and roll.
What's up? So my win would be me and my business partner have finally started building a proper person brand around the business. For the last 3 to 5 years, we've been getting most of our clients through cold outbound. It's hit a cap. It's not fucking working. So now we're going pro, like you would say, on building the personal brand around the business. So that's been a huge shift. So buzzing about that.
Massive. Beautiful win. Enrique, what's your win?
Oh, I started second day yesterday on my brand new offer.
Nice.
And first time that I completely went scriptless.
Boom.
No script, no nothing, and closed on a one call close, paid in full, which was great.
Chris Shaw, what's up?
What's up, man? It's been about 6 months since I did the $1 million pitch upgrade to PIFs. And so we got a bunch of renews coming up, and it's a bunch of free money coming in. So I've increased that ticket price by over 100% over a whole year, thanks to you.
Love that.
Yeah.
Let's pause the wins for a second, guys. Going to go on a little bit of a tangent here. You said another level of freedom. What's important about freedom for you?
I feel like a kid again, and it's boundless, and it's hard to even articulate it, man. It's like the conversation I had with you back in Cabo. It's like you can shape reality.
Does a kid wear sunglasses? Typically,
they do or don't.
Typically, do they wear sunglasses in the way that you wear them, which is what would I call it? It's almost like a social identity.
It's a good question.
What do you think? Do they typically make sure that they've got their image on before they present themselves to other people, or do they just be?
They just be.
How much freedom do you think you would possibly have if you stepped into a new era, which is Chris the non-sunglasses Chris?
This is why I have mentorship. I think it would unlock another era of freedom.
What's held you back from doing it?
What's held me back from doing it? I'm searching for what the answer is. Something is not the first thing that comes to mind is just choosing to.
Why do you think you haven't chosen already to do something that would give you more freedom, if freedom is one of the things that you find the most joy from?
If freedom is what I value the most, why have not chosen to do something that would unlock the next level of freedom?
Imagine if you were to step into a new era where you don't wear your sunglasses. You could wear them every now and then, but it's not like I'm always going to have my sunglasses on. That's my image. That's my identity. If you imagine stepping into that, is there any types of negative thoughts that come up as far as maybe a fear or an anxiety or an insecurity?
If I unlock this when I unlock this next era of freedom, you're asking, is there any concerns or insecurities?
It's not so much once you're on the other side, it's going from the side where you're wearing the glasses all the time to the side where you're not, and going through that transition. Once you're on the other side and that's your new era, you'll be fine. But I'm just curious, is there any like a little bit of hesitation about doing that? And if so, where is that coming from?
The fact that you notice it there, it's there.
Do you want to know why I notice it?
Yeah, this is what I'm here for.
Because I did the same, not with glasses, but there was a period when I got into high ticket closing and I was starting to get it. And prior to that, I used to always wear brighter colors, like a light blue or a navy or a white t-shirt or whatever. And I had a beard about the length of my beard now, probably shorter actually.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I got into high ticket closing, I all of a sudden formed this identity where I grew out my beard. I had like a Viking beard and I only wore black. And it was like this thing that I'd utilized as a stepping stone into the next level of myself. But then after about a year and a half or 2 years of that, maybe 2 years, it actually became the very thing that I was relying on to be that person, as opposed to I'm just that person, whether I have a long beard or no long beard or wear black or wear white or whatever. And I realized that I had become dependent on, it's almost like a uniform, or it's almost like a Superman suit. It's like, I'm only Superman if I wear the suit. If I don't wear the suit, I'm not Superman anymore. And I just would be very curious about what would happen if you tested that out. I feel like the next version of Chris that has the most open heart, the most deepest connections, and also the most self-love would be the version of you that's in a chapter where you don't wear the glasses.
Well, we're going to find out because we're going to do it in real time.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Back to the wins, folks. Jay, what's your win?
Yeah, what's up? My win is last week I decided to draw a line in the sand. I was like, I'm gonna get on a different offer. But my approach wasn't necessarily like, oh, I'm gonna start spam applying and like freak out like, oh, I need to get on a better offer. I was just like, this will be easy. And like it'll probably just easily fall in my lap. And so I spent some time creating this video, like this montage of some highlight clips. And I sent it to like a few sales managers and sent in a couple applications. And then this week, actually easily just got on this executive coaching offer. So I started taking calls, but then I still have other opportunities that I'm still in contact about. And it's almost like, I just have I just have all these things that I can choose from. And yeah, I just expected this to happen. And so that's my one.
Love that. Great win. Fady, what's your win?
The last 5 business days, 10 closes.
Wow. That's it. That's enough. Awesome win. And he froze on that.
After Sedona, my anxiety levels have gone to literally zero, quite literally zero. And so since I've been back, I've had a 60% close rate for the past 3 weeks. I've had a close every single day for the last like 2.5 weeks. And as you guys can see, if you guys noticed my background before, I'm in the process of building out a completely new home office that I'm excited about. And it's going to look incredible. And so I'm excited about that. And then the last thing here is when I spoke with recently, I was like contemplating how much I should invest in the home gym. And he was just like, we went back and forth, and basically was like, just fucking do it. Like, I was like, why wouldn't I? I'm making the money. So my home gym is going to look incredible. I'm excited to send you guys pictures. And final point, I did a lot of reflection over the weekend, and I had a decent week last week. I did like 125K cash collected, which has been my floor. But I realized what the biggest adjustment is, and I'm going to post that in the mastermind later on this afternoon. And so excited to share that with you guys too. But it's all been up, and I'm just super grateful to be here and love hearing everybody's wins.
Fantastic win. All right, folks, we're going to jump into a training. So it's off the back of a lot of these wins as well. You may have seen, if you are more of a seasoned member, that the mastermind continues to grow in terms of members. And then if you are brand new, because you're brand new, this is going to be a reminder and also a double check that you're actually in the right place. So I want you all to put in the chat, in one line, don't give me a paragraph, could be a couple of words or one sentence. Why did you join the Unicorn Closer Mastermind? Put in the chat, folks. So we've got life-changing, internal mastery, self-actualizing, alignment, transformations to change my life, sales skills, God told me to. Amazing, incredible. Realize my potential to be held to a higher standard, a different sales approach, learn B2B sales, mentorship at the highest level. I don't want to live with regret, leveling up, make 100K a month, learn to be a leader. It felt right, non-salesy sales, self-mastery, better woman, more money. I think Jewel means to become a better woman means more money, because I wasn't happy with my standard of life, to master sales, new levels, etc., etc., etc. So there are a few of you who've put in their sales, which is totally fine. There's a few of you that have put in tangibly the money, which is also fine. But notice that the majority is self-actualizing, the inner work, transformation, identity level change, who you are. And that's exactly what it should be. As you do those things, you will make more money, and you will learn sales, and you will learn B2B or B2C or conversations and human psychology and understanding people. You'll learn all of those things. But if you get those back to front and you're trying to be here for the sales skills, the money, and the tangible skills, the likelihood is you won't actually get those things. And this brings us all the way back to the root cause of life, which is everything is a hologram. Everything is spiritual. And what you have outside of you is a reflection of who you are on the inside. If you don't get this, or you get it wrong, or what I'm about to train on here in a minute, if you forget, then you will get stuck on your journey and you will not get to the promised land. And so this training is on how to make sure you don't suffer that regret, where you get stuck on your journey to making the money, to learning sales skills, but on your journey to becoming the person that will allow you to unlock those things by default. And what I mean by default is when you change who you are as a person, those things will just automatically happen. It is impossible for them to not happen, because everything is a reflection. As you go up the levels of your identity, your outer reality will match it. And there is no other reality that is opposite of that. There's no way that you can stay the same person and all of a sudden start leveling up in your outer reality. The foundation of the Unicorn Closer Mastermind is based on these laws. The law that you have to change who you are as a person to change your outside reality. And the more you want to change your outside reality, the more you need to change as a person. So let's get into where most people get stuck. And I'll say it again. If you're new, this is your opportunity to leave, because there's no point being here if you're in the wrong place, or if you don't get this. You may as well, you're not going to get a refund on your 3K, but you're not going to have to pay another 3K a month. And if you don't get this and you don't go all the way through it, your investment will have been in vain. I'm not saying you won't close some more deals along the way, but it's not going to be the exponential 100x, 200x ROI that you will get if you get through this. If you are not new here, this is what you need to stay aware of to make sure that you get through the journey here. Okay, so I'm going to draw this in two different ways. We'll come to this one here in a minute, and we'll do this one here first. Okay, let's do a different color there. Let's do black and this. Okay, so a straight line. All right, cool. So the Unicorn Closer Mastermind, I'm going to draw this like this. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. All right. So this line here represents time. Okay. And this line here represents success, which I'm going to state again is a, how do I draw this? Let's draw it like this. Success means your inner success, which is a reflection of your outer success. So by success, I'm meaning internal change, which is also going to equal external change. Success just simply means both of those because they cannot be inconsistent with each other. Okay. So this point here is day 0, which means the day you joined the mastermind. Okay. Now, what happens is the day you join the mastermind, because you've made an internal decision to level up as a person, you've increased your identity. There's no sales call. There's no convincing you to be here. There's nobody else pushing you to be here. It's not a small investment. You know full well when you join, there's extremely high standards. And all of you have chosen to go through that elevation independently, which means you've transformed. And so because you've transformed on the inside, what is going to happen on the outside, which for those who've been here many months, you've seen this again and again and again and again and again. When someone joins, what happens is, boom, they all of a sudden start closing more fucking deals, literally instantly. Not because they've gone through any of the trainings, but because they've changed their identity. They took an action outside of their comfort zone, which is leveling up their level of consciousness. They've become a different person. In that instantaneous moment that they join the mastermind, they will start getting results. That is always the case. Okay? Then what happens? And so this is phase 1. This is like $1 million pitch for any of you who've got $1 million pitch. Phase 1 is what we call quick wins. You instantly will start getting some wins because you've changed who you are as a person. You joined the mastermind without a sales call. You invested $3,000 a month, and you know that we don't fuck around in here. You've chosen to join that. So you will get instant wins. Now, after phase 1, and that could be a few days, a week, a month, there's no exact time period on here. What will happen is that you'll come down a little bit. Let's just say 50% of the way. You won't all of a sudden be closing deal after deal after deal after deal. All of your calls are turning up to your calls. And what will then happen is you'll have this period like this, where you'll go up and down and up and down and up and down. And you'll probably have a slightly higher peak of ups and downs and ups and downs and ups and downs. Okay? And this is phase 2. Okay? Which we call learning. In simple terms, these are simple names. You're learning the things. You're doing the 4 core pillars. You're learning scriptless selling. You're doing the internal mastery. You have a win. You have a good couple of days. Then you have a bad couple of days. Then you have a good month. Then you have a bad month. And you go through this phase here, which is phase 2. Is everyone following along so far? Is anybody confused? Okay, cool. Now, what do you think happens in phase 3? And by the way, phase 2, again, these are random periods of time. I'll say, 1 day to, let's call it 2 months. Okay, to 2 months. This is somewhere around about 1 week to 4 months, which, no fucking surprise, is the minimum time to be here. What do you think happens in phase 3, folks?
Sink or swim.
Sink or swim? Yep, pretty close. Typically what happens is you will come all the way back down to here, and you'll have some ups and downs and ups and downs. You might have a big up and then a big down, and you'll have something like this. Okay? Phase 3. And this is around about months 4 to somewhere around about month, let's call it 13. I'm going to say just over a year. And you might be like, what the fuck? Like, I'm going to have fucking 8 months of shit? You're still going to have wins. And again, this win could have been higher. It could have been one of your best, or probably would be. You might have like 2 really good months. So let's draw it more like that. Okay. Why? What is happening in here? This, folks, is you versus you. Real transformation. Do you think it's easy, folks, to fight a battle with yourself? It's much harder to fight a battle with yourself than it is to fight a battle with someone else. Because it's one of those weird situations where it's like, do I want to beat myself up? Well, that doesn't make much sense because then I'm beating myself up. But if I don't beat myself up, then I'm going to get beaten up. And so it's like this weird situation of like, I have to kill my old identity, but I don't want to kill my old identity. And you're going through this real deep tunnel. Okay, they call it the abyss. They call it the dark night of the soul. They call it many different things. Okay? This period is where I could insert all of the reasons that you gave at the start of this training of why you are here. You want to hit 100K a month? You want to master human beings, master people? You want to truly change yourself? You want to truly see your full potential or have no regrets? I can guarantee you, every single one of you, it will not happen unless you get through this. And do you know what the drop-off rate is for this, folks, inside the mastermind? Despite everything we give you, 2 fucking mentors, multiple live events a year, all the training you could ever need, all the mentorship, example after example after example of people that have done it. Nicole, Jacob, Skylar, Manuel, myself. The drop-off rate is still, and I'm guessing the number here, folks, but fucking 95% of them. Most people drop off in here. They don't really drop off here, and they definitely don't fucking drop off here. They drop off here. And so I've done this similar ilk of training almost every week now for the last few weeks. If you're new, you won't know this. Just fucking quit now. If you aren't going to get through this, don't invest another $3,000 for the next 12 months because you won't get an ROI. And I don't mean financially. I mean, because you all said, bar a few of you, which is fine that you still said money, your ROI that you want to invest, and if we calculate the numbers here, 3K times 12 months, 36 grand. You're not investing 36 grand to make 100 grand a month, although that would be a fucking great ROI. You're investing $36,000 because you want to truly change who you are as a person. You're investing $36,000 because you said you actually want to see your full potential. Don't do it if you're not actually going to get through this because you will waste the money. You'll make your 36 grand back. I guarantee you that. You'll probably make double, triple that back over the time. But that's not why you joined here. You can go join another mastermind and make 2x your income. You can go join some scriptless mastermind, learn how to sell with a script and read word tracks. The reason that you're in this mastermind, unless you accidentally join the wrong one, which is why I'm doing this training again. Number one, so that I'm being ethical to the people that are here, that if you're in the wrong place, you may as well leave now. Number two, the biggest reason, if you're here, my one job, my only job is to try and get as many of you through this as possible, knowing that the odds are against me and the odds are against you. This is my only job. Every single day, every single week, every single 6 months when we do a live mastermind, my only job is to get as many of you through this as I possibly can. So far, I've got 4 of you through this to the highest peaks, which is like 100K months and beyond, which out of probably, what's the fucking number? I don't know, 150, 200 people that have been in the mastermind total. I'm pretty happy with that. Fucking 2.5% of you became actual unicorns. It's called unicorn for a reason, guys. It's not going to be the 99% of the members that join the Unicorn Closer Mastermind become unicorn closers. Then it wouldn't be a unicorn. The statistics are against you, and they always will be if you want to be the outsider that is at the top of the hierarchy. All I'm trying to do is get as many of you from here to here as possible, knowing that 99% of you won't fucking make it. And where are you not going to make it? Here. When every month in here, and I'll explain why, if any of you haven't got it, why is this the drop-off zone? Let's not call it a drop-off zone. Why is it you versus you and real transformation? It's for two reasons. Well, it's for one reason, which is two variables connected. You will have the highest amount of money going out, which is 3K a month, same as always, but 3K a month is going out, with the least amount of transformation coming back. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. As in, like, every month that you look at your bank account, 3K is going to come out. And you might have a few spikes of like, holy shit, I had a 50K month or a 60K month like George. Sorry, 70K month. 60, 70, I forget. But in general, during these, let's call it what, 4 to 13, so what, 6 to 8 months, every single month, $3,000 is going to come out of your bank account. And you're going to be like, what? Like, I'm not seeing the ROI yet. That conflict of those two variables is where you either sink or swim. You don't become the new version of yourself where you're not investing money and getting a result. Neither do you become the new version of yourself where you're investing money and getting the result. Who you are is forged and found and decided in the moments where you're putting everything in and getting nothing back. And do you fucking quit? They say maturity is your ability to do the right actions without getting the result for the longest period of time. That is what the definition of maturity has been given as. How long can you keep going, showing up, putting in the work, spending the money, doing the training when you're not seeing anything on the outside? And let me go deeper in the spiritual side of this. The reason that is where real transformation comes from is because transformation is where what you're looking for is no longer found on the outside. It's found on the inside. You can't find yourself when you're finding results on the outside. The only way you can have spiritual transformation is when you find solitude, peace, abundance, mastery, happiness, joy inside of you. When outside of you is a desert, it is barren, it is scarcity, it is fear, it is darkness. But you find the light inside of you. That's what transformation is. You cannot find what you're capable of on the inside when you have everything on the outside. If you're driving around in a fucking Lamborghini that you didn't have to work that hard for, you'll never find your spiritual depth. You find it when you're like, shit, nothing's fucking working. I'm going to keep doing the right things. I'm going to keep showing up. I'm going to keep investing. And then you found that your true light, your true power, your true sovereignty is inside of you. And then what happens? You found everything inside of you. Everything starts happening outside of you. This is not coincidence or just happenstance. Oh, we just got to go through this shit period because Josh says we've got to go through this shit period. This is where enlightenment comes from. That's why if you look at any spiritual gurus, they go live in a fucking mountain and eat 1 grain of rice every day because then they don't have anything on the outside. And as I think Ben and Chris were saying, it's sink or swim. You either find yourself inside of you or you don't. But there's no other way around it. There's no, well, I'd like to find my inner strength, but I'd like everything to be comfortable on the outside while I try and find it. You'll never find it. Is this making sense? So I'll say it again. If you don't plan on getting through this, there's no point being here because you won't undergo identity change. You won't see your true potential and you will end up living with regrets because you know you quit. But there's a slight consideration that you could have quit because you didn't know what you didn't know and you were ignorant. Well, talks a lot about absolving you from ignorance. It's what I'm doing right now. If you're on this training right now, and I'll probably try and make this training something that people can continue watching as they join if they're brand new, you cannot now get to months 4 to 13, 14, 15 and say, I didn't know that I had to get through that and that it was going to be difficult. You can't say that anymore. So if you quit and you don't make it and you don't keep making your 3K a month payments, knowing that I've told you, it's going to get worse at this month because all of a sudden you had the quick wins, you had some good wins along here and whatever. And then all of a sudden you have this identity crisis where you're like, fuck, I thought I had scriptless selling. And then now I'm struggling to think of the questions and my life's changing outside of me and I'm having to get rid of my old friends and I don't know if I want to get rid of my old friends and fuck, my relationship's falling to shit. And all of these things are going to become chaos. Absolute fucking chaos. And you're going to be like, you know, the one thing that would make everything easier is if I could just have some more stability, some more consistency. Oh, that script looks pretty tasty over there. That sales training that does word tracks that's only $99 a month. Oh, that would really alleviate some of the pressure on me right now while I'm going through these months and my investments 3K a month. You know, if I could just lower my expenses monthly and I could lower the standard that I have to stand up to. And I could lower the fact that I have to actually use my brain on a sales call and think up questions and be in state and follow my schedule and follow my routines and do the internal mastery. If I could just remove all of that for a little while. And this is the rationalization. It's just temporary. I'll come back to the mastermind when things are a little bit better. No, you don't get how spiritual and internal transformation works. It's doing it when it's not better that forges your character. You can't leave and say, I'll just save up some savings and then I'll come back. This is part of the process. Does this make sense? Okay. So then what happens in phase 4? No fucking surprise here, folks. Boom. Phase 4. The promised land, whatever you want to call it. It comes after this. Now, isn't it interesting how we had people saying, where is it here? I wrote down. Anyway, with the wins that we were talking about earlier, all of the wins that people were giving were win. Oh, it was Maurice had said, holy shit, I've realized how much I've become a different person in my relationships, my social life. Who I am is so different. I can now navigate all of these areas of my life. Well, I'll tell you straight up, Maurice won't mind me saying it. He was about to fucking quit the mastermind. Someone else was paying for it for him. Business owner was paying for it. And then at a certain point, he had to pay for it himself. And he was like, I don't know, not really sure about that. He stuck it out, probably around about this period of time, if not past this period of time. He's still now on a unicorn offer. He's making money. And more importantly, he's actually changed as a person. You will not find any person in this mastermind who gets here, Nicole, Jacob, Skylar, myself, Manuel, who didn't want to quit many times in this phase. Oh, you know, I wasn't sure about coming to the next live event, or I went to the live event. And I thought, you know what? I think that's my last live event. All of them, every one of them said the same thing. But I just did another month and then another month and put one foot in front of the other. And I just kept going and they got to here. So I hope you all understand, and without sounding egotistical, I hope you appreciate that I'm not hiding this. I'm not fucking around with like, oh yeah, you're going to get some fucking quick wins and then some more wins and then some more wins and everything's just going to be awesome. No. You'll get quick wins. Awesome. Then you'll have some more wins. You'll go up and down a little bit. You'll have some great months. You'll have some not so good months and it will just be kind of okay. This is like the okay phase. Like, I'm getting scriptless. Oh, I had a bad call. I'm getting internal mastery. Oh, I had a few days where I kind of fucked some things up. And it's like the okay phase. This phase is like, holy shit, the UCM is so fun. I got some great wins and I'm around all these cool people. It's fucking awesome. Day one energy. We've seen that enough. Everyone gets into this phase. That's fine. But this is why you joined. So know this from today if you're not brand new, or from today if you're brand new. This is it. It's phase 3. Real transformation. Okay? Now, someone said it before. I had this circle here. I think it was maybe Dr. Chloe. This is, folks, the same thing. Oh, shit. The same thing that I've been drawing, but in a different shape. This is the hero's journey, folks. You go from, and the hero's journey, oh, shit, is like this. So you go from your, we'll call it the above realm or the above world, and the under realm or the underworld. And so what this essentially means is you start here and you get back to here as well. And as you go on your hero's journey, at a certain point, you cross here, which is called the threshold. And the threshold is where all of a sudden you're in chaos. Up here is order. Okay? This period here, all of this, is where real transformation occurs. And when you come out the other side, you're a totally different person, even if you're in the same environment, like you live in the same place, you have some of the same friends, not all of them. But this period here is where people quit. And by quit, what happens is they go into the underworld. They might get about here, and then they go backwards. They're like, nah, fuck that. I'm just going to go back again. You have a choice at every moment along here. Do you keep pushing forward or do you regress? And you push forward, to be crystal clear, folks, knowing you're not pushing forward from here to here. You're pushing forward from here to more shit and more shit and more shit and more chaos until eventually you come out the other side. This is the hero's journey. It is archetypal, which means I'm not making this shit up, folks. It is deep within our heritage. You cannot avoid it. You cannot escape it. You go on your hero's journey, and 99% of people don't become heroes. / unicorns. Same thing. 99% of people aren't heroes. Do you want books written about you? Do you want a legacy? Do you want impact? Do you want true freedom, choices, abundance? Then the person that has that externally is the person that has that internally. And to have it internally, the hero internally must be forged. And the hero internally is not forged in good times. The hero is forged in the bad times. And how long they can keep going in the bad times. Why are you smiling, Nicole?
High on life over here, you know what I mean?
What's that?
Sorry, I just was like joking at your drawing. And I said, yep,
Pretty
this is
good
exactly
drawings.
why I joined. And it's just like chaos on the screen.
There you go. This is chaos. This is I mean, look at that. This is a fucking masterpiece. Who else can draw like that?
None of us, that's for sure.
Yep. Like people are saying, folks, Marvel, Harry Potter. The example I had, because I'm the biggest nerd ever, is obviously Star Wars. Every example is the same. And this also ties in, if he's still on the call, to what I said with Chris. Let's draw an example of this for all of you, which is why I see these things. I don't see these things because I see Chris's glasses. This is going to sound a bit weird, folks. I see in patterns. And the pattern I see is the hero's journey in all of you. I don't see you just as your physical appearance. I see a marcation of where you are on this point in the circle. I can see that in all of you. Some of you are here, some of you are here, some of you are here, and some of you, a few of you, are now actually up here. I see this in you. And so using the Star Wars example, because as within, so without. In the beginning of the Star Wars movie, sorry if any of you don't know this, but you can abstract the points. The hero, which in the original ones is Luke Skywalker, he wears white/brown. Okay? Then when he goes into the underworld, he wears black. And then when the hero comes all the way out the other side again, or in this case, you could say Obi-Wan Kenobi becomes a ghost. He becomes the Force, not a human being. They're in brown and white again. Because they've gone from the innocent hero that has no power to the hero that is forging their power, but also trying to manage like the dark side, the light side, whatever, to the hero that is, again, the innocent hero, but they now have power. They've integrated that power through the journey under here. And so when Chris was a child, he had beautiful eyes that people would look into his eyes. Now Chris is in this period where he covers his eyes with his sunglasses. Nobody can look into his eyes. And there will be a period on the other side where people look into Chris's eyes again when he doesn't wear the glasses as a default. It's the same with all of you. I guarantee all of you have a certain dress sense when you begin this journey. You will then start dressing differently, having your cool Zoom backgrounds when you're going through your journey. And there will come another side where you might still have the Zoom background. You might still have pieces of the dress sense that you wore as you went through your journey, but you've now reintegrated those things where you aren't the sunglasses or the Zoom background. You are you that just happens to wear some sunglasses or wear a Zoom background, as opposed to, and listen to this carefully, the glasses wearing you or the Zoom background wearing you. So hopefully you're enjoying this training. Now, if you're brand new to the channel, you can skip this. But if you've been watching my videos for weeks or months, you've gotten value, you've implemented, you're making more money because of it, the question I have for you is, what are you doing still sitting on the outside? Are you someone who's going to continue to just watch free content when deep down you know being on the inside, being mentored by me directly, being around other unicorn closers is the thing that would take you to the next level? If you think you're getting value from the free content I'm putting out here on YouTube, what do you think happens inside the mastermind? So if you know you're ready, if you're at that point, you've seen what you needed to see, click the link below this video, jump inside, I'll see you there. Now back to the training. A lot of you are in this phase here where your Zoom background is wearing you. On this side, you are wearing the Zoom background. Chris is in the phase where his glasses wear him. He's known as the glasses guy, as opposed to he's known as Chris. And I've seen his eyes, and I've seen his heart, and I've seen his soul. But he just wears glasses today. Does this make sense? All right. That's the training, folks. Let's do some Q&A on that. Steve, what's up?
The amount of times that I've told myself, damn, I was just thinking about this since joining UCM. I mean, over a dozen times. So yes, I've been going through this in my own fitness journey. And it literally, like my coach was just telling me about how getting from 15% to 12% body fat, you're going to want to quit because you're going to be doing the same things day in and day out. And unlike getting from 20% to 15%, it's happening quick, really good results. It's exciting. From 15 to 12%, you're going to get pissed off and you're going to want to quit because you're doing those same things and you're just not seeing the results in your, in your weight, in your body, etc. So it's just crazy. Yesterday we were having this conversation and it reminded me of the UCM timeline. And it's like, yeah, at that moment there where you're not seeing those results from doing everything that you were doing that was giving you results initially, that's when you want to fucking quit. So just something that really, really hit me today. Appreciate the training.
You're very welcome. Enrique, what's up?
Nothing much. So I'm one of the newbies. I've been here since the 21st. So I'm only 4 or 5 days in. So
Nice.
This training for me, especially me being in phase one, it's very sobering because it's something that I know that I need to remind myself that I'm really only at the very beginning, realistically. And if I want to be the person that I know I'm capable of and have the potential of, I'm going to have to go through those sorts of phases from 4 months in to 8 months to 13 months plus. And that reminder in myself that words that are coming out for me is radical ownership. And I've lived my life, I'm 24 now, but I've lived my life very much just making excuses for why I didn't do something or why things didn't work. And a big reason of me joining this mastermind is for me to actually take that radical ownership for myself instead of just saying the nice things that you're supposed to say. And that's sort of my big takeaways from the training. There's no excuses. You've laid it out clearly for us, and it's up to us to decide how we choose to proceed.
100%. Drew, what's your win? Takeaway. Could be a win.
It feels like a win for sure. Yeah, very clarifying. For me, my sales manager joined the mastermind, I think in November or December. So I kind of had this experience of being peripherally benefited by the things he was learning through the launchpad, which I'm now going through. But I messaged you on Instagram at some point and said, "Hey, I'm going to join the mastermind. Like, I'm getting so much value peripherally. I know I should be there." And when I joined, you asked me what changed, and I didn't really have a good answer for you, but this really clarified it. What I think I'm recognizing from this training is all of the stuff is part of learning the real truth of transformation. It's like, yeah, you got to manage your state. You got to have a schedule. You got to sleep better. Like, these are all technically true, but what I felt was I was missing the core of being in the environment that really forces the transformation to either take place or not. Because you said you don't have to do this. And the process of transforming is going to put you in a position where there's a voluntary out all the time.
100%.
You can always quit. So it helps clarify for me kind of some of the internal conflict I was feeling before joining, because it was like, yeah, you can implement all these things, but technically that's just a shortcut too that you're trying to find. You have to actually put yourself in the environment that's going to force you to either step up or step out. So very helpful for me to just even see visually how that works, because there's part of me that feels like I already am in phase 3. I joined the mastermind a month ago, but I've been implementing all the launchpad for 3-4 months now, and I've seen that journey. January, I had the best month of sales ever, my entire career. And now I'm in that kind of like up, down, shaky spot. I have a question for you, which is, in understanding everything that you just went through, which was like mind-blowing, I'm curious how this relates specifically to the post I made yesterday in terms of having had an experience on a call that was very like transcendent and disorienting, and understanding how to really remain grounded as all of this transformation is happening. I kind of have an intuitive sense, but I just wanted to get your feedback specifically on that post I made yesterday and how you think this relates to what I shared.
So to clarify, I've got the post correct. You had a call, and you basically, and it didn't close. I think you said it might close on follow up, but after you came off the call, you felt, I guess, out of place. It's kind of like your head was just up in the clouds. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I felt like I disappeared. And then after the call, when I like came back to, it was like, whoa, what the fuck just happened?
Where did you disappear to?
Like nowhere.
Mm.
Yeah, like I felt like, I've had certain experiences in my life where I've kind of had that, I guess, ego dissolution, for lack of a better term, but experiencing it on a sales call was a totally different version of it. And so I think the context took me by surprise.
The time of the sales call, was it a good feeling or a bad feeling?
Very good feeling.
Did you consciously choose to come out of it, or did it just happen once you finished the call?
Just happened.
So would you want to be in that feeling as you were in the call as your default state? Or do you want to be the version of you, like in the feelings as you were, not when you got off the call, because I know you felt all over the place, but your normal feelings? Like, what are you trying to aim towards? Like, oh, actually, it felt great being how I felt on the call. If I could just be feeling that all the time, that would be good. Or was it, no, I want to just feel the way I normally feel? Or is it, I'm not really sure because I'm used to this way of feeling, but that felt really good. So now I'm not really sure. What's the vibe there?
It's a really good question. I think I don't know would be the most honest answer, but based on how you frame the question, no, I would definitely want to be in that state more. I think the disorientation I felt showed me the gap is bigger than is reasonable to hold and jump back and forth all the time. It's like, no, I have to go into that state. But I guess my baseline state, what I'm realizing through that question is my baseline state is far enough off that it's not realistic or practical for me to try to jump in between.
So then I would say the reason that you had that psychological, physical whiplash and that feeling of like, holy shit, what was that? I would connect that to the hero's journey in the sense of it being a signpost of like, okay, I've got work to do because I don't want to feel this massive gap every time I get on and off a call. And to start, this one would stay the same place, but to start pulling that closer and closer together so that your natural state more often is much closer to how you were feeling on a sales call. And I would connect it to you felt that feeling of uncomfortableness after the call as a signpost of like, shit, I don't want that to be such a big a gap. That's how I would look at it.
Fully received. Thank you, brother.
You're very welcome. All right, folks, we're going to carry on with the takeaways, but as we've been talking, there's been some extra things that I'm going to add into this training. So let me go back to my whiteboard. So Rayanne was saying a few things as far as the transformation, all of you have really that have commented. As we go through these phases, 1, 2, 3, and then really that final one is you're out the other side. It's a terrible 4. Let's try and do that a little bit better. And vice versa, the same thing with the hero's journey. These are the same things, guys. They're just drawn in different ways. It's realizing this statement that the version of you that you are now won't get you to where you want to go. And that is what is the uncomfortable, mental, physiological, which means physical, and spiritual realization that you are wrestling with in phase 3. That's the thing that's difficult, is like phase 1 and phase 2, you're the same person. Let's I'm going to be a little bit facetious here, guys. Same dog, new tricks. It's phases 1 and phase 2. Okay? Phase 4, you're a new dog. Phase 3 is difficult because you've got the new tricks which carry on into phase 3, and those new tricks will carry on into phase 4. But instead of you being the same old dog adding on new tricks, and the thing that you're focused on is the outside tricks, the difficulty is of phase 3 is that you have to die plus be reborn. Does that make sense? Like that's the crux of why it's difficult. Is you're like, I am Ben, I am Chris, I am Rayanne, I am who I am. Yeah, well, that version of you that you thought you are, that you currently are, ain't gonna get you where you want to go. So you have to realize you have to change who you are. You have to become a different person. And that's very difficult for the ego. Okay, so that's the first piece of the training. Second thing that Rayanne said as well was calm in the storm. Different wording of what I said before. Just another another reminder that you cannot find your true potential if you aren't in a storm and then have to stay calm in the storm. Goes back to what I said before, that's when you realize your potential inside of you is when you're like, holy shit, everything's going wrong on the outside, but I'm actually able to find those moments of silence, those moments of peace, those moments of abundance, those moments of joy, those moments of being okay in the storm. So the people that try and avoid the storm, or the people that get into a storm and try and run away from it as quickly as possible, they might think they're doing the right thing because they're getting out of the external lack of calm. But the real thing that you all want deep inside, and again, it wasn't me that figured this out. Neither was it fucking George Lucas who figured out the hero's journey. Neither was it Joseph Campbell. Neither was it. This one here is Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and the top need is self-actualization. This is something that's deeper than all of these people. They've all just come to the same conclusion, which is the hero's journey, Carl Jung, self-actualizing, Maslow, whatever you look at it, whichever way you look at it. The realization is that the deepest thing that we need, that we want, and this is the most important one, folks, that's just meant to happen, is that we're supposed to have an external negative situation and find an internal positive situation regardless of the external situation. It's not just that that's our deepest desire, it's that that's our fucking destiny. You can't escape it. You can spend the rest of your life, and you can spend this lifetime, for those of you that believe in reincarnation, you can spend this lifetime avoiding it. You'll just get reborn again to have another go of finding your inner God, your inner sanctuary, your true potential. It's what you're on the fucking planet for, to self-actualize. There's nothing else that you're on this planet for. So whether you quit this mastermind or not, what else are you going to do, folks? You're going to have this deep, gnawing, longing desire to go through a 12 to 18 month period to find what you're capable of. Whether it's this mastermind, the fucking ecom mastermind, the copywriting mastermind, whatever. This is what you all seek because it's destiny. I'll say it again, 99% of us, we fucking head in this direction and we bail on the way through. But you'll just want another go around. So you may as well just do it now. Okay? What else did I write down? Then Rayanne said something interesting, which was, and so this is again in phase 3 here, which is you versus you. Nothing wrong with what Rayanne said, but I want to make sure that you've got the full picture. Rayanne said, I'll give up all my money to get through phase 3. Your money is an external reflection of you. Everything outside is a reflection of everything inside. So what you actually have to give up is you, not your money. Your money's a piece of you, but what you actually have to give up is the old dog. So yes, it's great to hear someone so committed that they'll go through their savings, their investments, whatever, to be here. But I would be unethical to say, yeah, just do that and you'll get to the other side. No, you'll just burn through all of your money and all of your savings and all of your investments and still stay stuck in phase 3, unless what you actually give up as well is who you thought you were. Does this make sense? It would be very unethical of me to not mention that. Part of investing the money and keep burning through your savings, your investments, your investment to be here is so that you get to the point where you finally surrender and let go who you are. But you have to go through that bit as well, or you'll just go to the end of phase 3, get stuck here, not get through the other side, and then be like, I also have no money now. Well, that wouldn't be worth it. Okay. The other thing I have, which I think is my final point, is, which some of you may have been wondering, is, because it came up in the conversations, is what is the time period of each of these? And why do people have different time periods? And how do I make my time period as short as possible? Right? Like some of you said, oh, I think I went through phase 1 in like 2 weeks. I think I'm already in phase 3. Some people get through phase 3. So far, none of us, myself, Jacob, Skylar, Manuel, sorry, not none of us, we've all done it in approximately 17 months. I think the quickest was 14 or 15. Doesn't mean it can't be done in 6 months. Doesn't mean some of you won't do it, but it will take you 18 months of phase 3, just being in phase 3. So you might be 6 months here, 8 months there. So it could take you 2.5 years in the mastermind. So the question then becomes, what determines the time period? And how do I make it as quick as possible? Okay. The answer of what determines phase 3 is, because it's you versus you. In other words, you are killing off this version to become this version. What determines you going through that? It is radical honesty. Or in other words, the answer to jumping over the line of phase 3 to phase 4 is truth, self-truth. How long does it take you to actually accept that the version of you that you are right now ain't going to get you to where you want to go? Does it take you 6 months to finally accept that in all of its variations and permutations and different specifics? Does it take you 2 years to realize that and accept it? That's how long it's going to take you. Is how long does it take you to finally realize that there are parts of you that are lying, and on the other side are parts of you that would be showing up as the truth, or falsehood and truth. And this is why it takes time, is because, and why it takes mentorship in every hero's journey. If any of you know anything about the fucking hero's journey, phase 2 or 3 is always finds the mentor. You can't escape that. It's archetypal. Why? Because you can't see inside of you what you don't know. Someone else has to see it inside of you and point it out to you. You don't know what you don't know. So there has to be a third party on the outside that can point it out to you. The question then is, now it's been pointed out to you, how long does it take you to actually fucking listen and do what they tell you, despite them being uncomfortable, hard truths? So going back to this, the mentor will point out places inside of you where you are rationalizing, making excuses, or simply lying to yourself. Rationalizing, denial, downplaying, same fucking things. Which, no coincidence, and this is why I truly believe sales, communication with other people, is the master key code to this hero's journey, is because these are the things that you want to help your prospects with. Well, you better have helped yourself through them if you want to help your prospects through them, because, and I'll cover that in a minute. I haven't got to that yet. Hang on. Let me cover that in a sec. So you have a mentor that's going to point out these things to you, but just because they've been pointed out doesn't mean you're going to actually accept them or see them and then actually step into the truth. So I'll give you an example, and I did it at the start of this call, not planned. It was fucking coincidence. Chris is wearing the glasses all the time as his identity is actually a falsehood. His glasses are wearing him right now rather than he wearing the glasses. And I can see that as a mentor. And so I can point it out to him. And his truth will be, he shows up as Chris to the calls, to his sales calls, to his UCM calls, to his home life, just as Chris. Sometimes it might be sunny, so he might wear some glasses. Sometimes he might just want to have a fashionable outfit on, so he might wear some glasses. But right now, Chris is the glasses. Well, you aren't your material attire. So implying through your actions that you are your material attire is a falsehood. So I know that for Chris to make a elevation internally, spiritually through energy, he has to step from falsehood to truth, because that's always the demarcation. And I can see where one of those causeways, a bridge, exists. And so I pointed it out to Chris. Okay. One more point, and then we'll carry on with takeaways, folks. Your period here in phase 3, your, let's call it month 2 to month, I don't know, fucking 13. There's a lot of inner work that you have to do, folks. And your Bible should be David Hawkins. Is that the right way around? Yeah. Letting go, power versus force, transcending the levels of consciousness, truth versus falsehood. Some of these are easier than others. I recommend you read them in the order that I've got here, top to bottom. If you want to read power versus force, you can, but it's covered within the 3. Start with letting go, then read transcending the levels of consciousness, then read truth versus falsehood, which is the hardest one so far. And as you go through that, you will realize how all of these things come together. And one of the things that you will realize which is why this exists and why this exists in the context of your own sales calls, is we have what's called the levels of consciousness. Okay. You have low levels, you have medium levels, you have high levels. High levels is like peace, love, joy, but more importantly, it is truth. Okay. In the middle, you have the level of courage, which is level 200, which is where you pass from falsehood through to truth. You pass through level 200. No shit. You have to be courageous to go from lying to yourself to being self-honest, radical self-honesty. And down here in falsehood, you have guilt, you have shame, you have fear, apathy. There are more, but I'm not going to list them all out. You even have pride, interestingly enough. Okay. This is the key. In these books, you will hear multiple times in these books that you cannot see in another what you aren't yourself. The level of consciousness that you are at is the level of vision that you will have. You can't see peace, love, and joy in other people if you aren't at the frequency of peace, love, and joy. To explain this in very, very, very simple terms so that you understand more visually, this is an old radio, and somewhere else in the world, this is the antenna that has the radio waves that come off the radio, that come off the antenna. If this frequency of truth / let's just call it happiness is the frequency of 500 hertz, and you tune in the radio to 200 hertz, you won't hear anything. And so on a sales call, what is the number one thing that we are getting to on a sales call, folks, in the discovery? Put in the chat. Good. Truth. You can't see the difference between falsehood and truth if you aren't in truth. Literally, you will be on your sales calls, and for those that have been here a while, put something in the chat to verify this, where you're like, I didn't see the rationalizing. I didn't see the excuses. I didn't see the bullshit. And then Josh comes in, or UM comes in, does a call review, and we point something out, and you're like, I just didn't see that. You can only see the spectrum of light that your eyes can see. If you want to see UV light or Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, you have to have a different reader, like a digital reader, that can sense those things. How do you go from being able to only see red, green, blue, yellow, violet, etc., to being able to see things that are not in what's known as the visible spectrum of light? You have the visible, I'm going to get this wrong, but there's like fucking one side on here, let's just call it red. No, not red. Let's call it, what is it? I'm just going to call it invisible. Invisible. And then on the other side, you've also got invisible, but on one of these, it's like UV light. And, oh, thank you. Infrared. It was infrared. Infrared. And then on one of these, you've got like UV. I think it's something like that. Anyway, the point is, normally as a human being, you can only see what you can visibly see with your eyes. How did I see the pattern? And it's not that I saw Chris's glasses. How could I see the pattern behind Chris's glasses that meant I had to run a mini discovery on him? It wasn't about the glasses. It was that I can see things that are invisible to you guys. I can see the energy of someone. I can see their vibration, their frequency, their truth, their falsehood. It's not body language or tonality or words. That is child's play for fucking retards that want to learn how to sell by what's visible. Body language, tonality, or words. If you want to be a simpleton, you're welcome to join that program. But if you want to be someone that can see things that are way beyond what your eyes and ears can hear and see, you have to become the person that has gone way beyond your visible eyes and your audible ears. When you become that person, you see things that other people can't see. Does this make sense? So if you want to sell at a high level, the only thing you have to be able to see is truth from falsehood, not in other people. You have to see it in yourself, and then it automatically is visible in other people. How do you see the truth from the falsehood inside yourself? Completely. After 12-ish months of facing the demons and the darkness inside of yourself. You want magical powers? You want gifts? Earn them. Okay. All right, let's go through takeaways. Ben, what's up?
Yeah, it's just so obvious now, based on what you said last week. Sales is about having a transformative conversation with people in everything that you're doing. So you're able to do it because you've gone through the transformation yourself. And you can see where people are rationalizing, like you said, or making excuses. It's interesting because I was going back through some of your old trainings in the Launchpad, and one thing that you said stood out, which was like, all the best objections came from you just going through these challenges yourself. And I had a conversation yesterday with this guy who was super broke. He came on saying he didn't want to do it or anything like that. And I was able to just spot all these things that he was lying to himself. He wasn't doing this. And at the end of the conversation, he ended up closing. So yeah, it's helpful to see kind of like the light at the end of the tunnel.
Glad to hear it. And so going back onto that point of speeding it up, folks, it's making the changes from falsehoods, ego, identities that have held on to you for a long period of time to truth. And you'll have multiple of those truths. Could be letting go of the wrong friends, could be letting go of a certain character trait, could be dressing a certain way, could be speaking a certain way, could be seeking approval in the way you communicate, could be a bunch of different things. And it will be a series of different things. But those things can be ranked. The thing that you, and this is not my line, this is Carl Jung, the thing that you least want to look at is the thing that you most need to look at. And so, yes, you're going to have multiple things, and ultimately you'll have to do all of them. But what's the biggest untruth that you don't want to face? Well, if you started with that one, it will have the most transformative effect on you. And all of you right now, and I'm not going to guilt and shame you to all put your hand up and say it out loud, all of you will have one that if you think about it off the top of your head, either instantly or it would come to you relatively quickly, that you're like, that's the one. Like if there were just one thing, it's the way I communicate seeking validation, or the way I don't tune in and express my emotions and I have a wall in front of me, or the way I hang out with certain people that deep down inside of me, that's not really the type of person that I want to be and therefore wouldn't hang out with those people. Or deep down, I'm a fucking pussy when it comes to money. And I always try and save $5 here, or, oh, can I use the coupon and get a fucking $10 off? Like a brokey. Like you'll all have like a thing, a main thing. You don't have to start with that, but just realize that you can rank order these things of like, these are all untruths and they'll all help you, but these ones will have more power behind them and these ones will have a little bit less. Okay. All right. Alec, what's your takeaway?
So all the concepts you've gone over so far, that all make sense. And I had a question you might have just answered with what you just went over here, but what makes sense here is overall the direction that we want to take things, the North Star would be getting to self-truth. So in terms of actually transforming and getting there, in addition to what you just said about finding the biggest thing that needs to be addressed, is it essentially just like the vehicle to getting there? Is it just identifying and moving into what you fear, what you avoid, what you're weakest at, and what you're lying to yourself on, and getting through that and coming out the other side to achieve that self-truth in the end?
Correct. And if I break it down so that I can get even more granular on that, folks, which hopefully will help all of you. And I did visually demonstrate this before, but let me do it even more clearly. internal transformation. So I'm going to use Cody's example because it was an easy one that I think a lot of you will probably have. So Cody said people pleasing, scared of confrontation, saying how I really feel. Okay. So what this looks like, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, just so that you can see this granularly, like as granular as I can get. Old dog, new trick, new dog, no tricks at all. So what that would look like for Cody, he's a people pleaser, scared of confrontation, saying how he really feels. Old dog, but new trick, he's learned the don't be the people pleaser technique. He's using the word track or the tonality that someone would use if they weren't a people pleaser. He says how he really feels as a tactic. I can communicate it in this way. I could type it. I could email it. I could do it in text message. I could do it on a phone call. Maybe I say it out loud. But he's still that person. But he's wearing new clothing. He's wearing the tools and the tricks and the techniques and the methodologies of how someone would be if they weren't a people pleaser. He is imitating or emulating not being a people pleaser. And from the outside, looking in, he says certain things in a certain way. He moves in a certain way that is not a people pleaser. But he's actually still that person on the inside. He's now just doing the things. What you have to get to is, I'm just not that person anymore. And this goes into, we can then map this out onto sales. Salesperson doesn't know how to get to a deep conversation with someone, and so they're the old dog. Then they go and join a mastermind to learn the word track. Well, if you ask this question at this time with this tonality, someone's going to open up to you. And sometimes they do, sometimes it works. But you're still the old dog that doesn't know how to automatically have the words, the tonality, the body language, the identity, the energetic frequency of having a deep and truthful, challenging conversation because of who you are. You're just emulating the behaviors of someone that would do those things. Well, what about if you actually become that person? Then you don't need to think about the words, the tonality, the script, the metaphor, the analogy. You just open your fucking mouth and stuff comes out and it works. But more importantly than that, what you really want is to be a new dog. So if I break it down granularly, that's what it looks like. And I give you this as warning that you also need to realize this is false. This is also false. Only this one is truth. Okay? So as you go through these internal changes, realize that there will be periods where you're faking it until you make it. And that's okay. I'm not saying don't do that. You still have to do that. You have to go through that passage of faking it until you make it. But you have to realize there is still a hard line that you have to go through where you've actually internally become a different person. That just takes time. It's why you can't be in the 4-month mastermind. You can be in the 2-week mastermind if you want some word tracks. You can be in the 2-month or 4-month or 6-month mastermind if you want to be the old dog with some new tricks. But I clarified at the start of this call, and I also said, if you accidentally joined by accident, please leave now. Why did you join this mastermind? And you all said, because I want to be different. I want to see what I'm capable of and be my full potential and have no regrets. Great. Then it's going to take time to actually transform on the inside. Okay? So hopefully that makes sense, breaking it down. All right. Maurice, what's up?
Yeah, so question that I think goes along with this. You've mentioned in the past about your journey where you did hours and hours and hours of reviewing your calls, of listening to UM's calls, the shears of revision, like thinking about, okay, I asked this question, but I could have asked this and this and this. And I'm always blown away with how you and the rest of us on the call will be watching the same call, but you're just I don't know. I don't know where it comes from, but you pull all these things, and I'm like, I just see your brain firing. So, do you think that you trained that muscle in yourself by doing that in combination with everything we're talking about right now?
Great question. So let me clarify, and it will hopefully be a big relief for all of you. The period to get this is hard, but once you're on the other side, there's no effort required, which is also the book Power versus Force. Force is you're putting effort in to get effort out. Power is no effort in and you get a result out. That's the difference between power and force. Another one of Hawkins' books, which are the books I held up. And the delineation between power versus force comes from truth versus falsehood. The reason I explain that is when I drew on the whiteboard before, and I'll draw it again quickly. Radio, cell tower with radio stations, with radio waves, sorry. If the radio tunes in to a frequency that happens to be the frequency, there is zero effort required for this radio to play the sound. So when you're saying like, have I trained myself so that my brain can be firing when I'm on the call? No, I went through the process of changing my frequency on the radio station from 100 hertz up to 500 hertz, which by the way is love. It's not I think it's actually unconditional love at that point. That might be me pushing it a little bit. I don't think I'm quite there yet. Let's go for 400. That's pushing it a little bit. I've trained myself through the months and months and months and months of going through the internal transformation to be at a higher frequency. Once I'm at a higher frequency, I don't have to do anything when I'm doing your call reviews, guys. Neither do I have to do anything if I'm on a sales call. And imagine that. Imagine how crazy that sounds, guys. Zero effort on my end to think, to feel, to know, to be. I just am. And everything that I need just happens to me. The questions, the tonality, the body language, the words, the order of things. Can you, I know that's wild for any of you to wrap your head around that, but can you just imagine for a second closing deals, making $100,000 a month with zero effort? Now, for any of you that are like, doesn't sound fair, like reality just doesn't work like that, I'll caveat it with the zero effort in phase 4 came from a insane amount of effort in phase 3. So it's not free. It's once you've paid your dues, then it's free. But the alternative is you pay less now to pay more forever. And what do I mean by pay less? You're going to be in a mastermind or course for less time. You're going to be in a course that is $299 a month instead of $2,999 a month. You're going to have low standards versus high standards, which ties into ignorance, ego, denial, and falsehood versus radical, and I'm going to be blunt here, painful, hard, brutal self-truths. You are more than welcome to pay less now. And you will find selling boring, unfulfilling, fulfilling, and significantly limited in the amount of money that you make later, if you want. Or you can pay now. And I can tell you, and I can guarantee you, selling will be fun. Selling will be easy/effortless. Selling will be transformational, both for you and the prospect. Transformational. And selling will make you life-changing amounts of money. There is no alternative. Pay less now, pay more forever later, or pay more now and pay actually nothing later. That's the difference between average salespeople and the unicorns in life. Are you willing to pay more now for less later? Or do you want to pay less now for more later? This is your choice. Every time you as a person choose to join a course with lower standards for a cheaper amount of monthly money that tells you you're going to get there in 4 months, as opposed to me saying it might take you 24 months, which is a massive fucking difference. This is the choice that you're making. This versus this. I'm not hiding it. I'm not sugarcoating it. I'm telling it to you straight up. Why? Because I'm in truth demonstration in real time. Okay. All right, let's carry on with the takeaways. Christian Para, what is up?
Oh my God. Okay. What's up, Josh? Good morning.
What's up?
I was saying, oh my God, because I'm taking so many notes today. I feel like today it's been like a sermon in the best ways possible. Because I don't go to churches often, maybe just once a week on Sundays.
Welcome to the UCM church.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I mean it in the most positive way, because these are things that you would sort of hear in church, but a lot of the concepts that obviously you're making it so contextual to our journey and how it affects sales. So that's my biggest takeaway for today was like what you said. It was very profound for some reason for me. It was like the level of consciousness you're at. It's just a level of vision you'll be able to see other people.
Anything else? All right.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome, brother. Dr. Chloe, what's up?
I had originally raised my hand to highlight one of my big takeaways that was based off of what Rayanne shared in regards to being in a place of willing to sacrifice all the monies in order to make this work. And in you saying that it didn't have to be external sacrifice, I realized that I think that's been a pattern for me in the past of sacrificing the external. So like, check, got that box, got the A plus, but it was on the wrong assignment. And so in that, it's giving me an opportunity to actually look at the right assignment so I could get to that next level. And even seen in the chat here a little bit about the biggest falsehood that we need to face in order to overcome, get that over the bridge of truth. Something that comes up for me is in regards to like not wanting to disappoint my parents because they've been so supportive. Didn't expect to get a little bit emotional here. It's been interesting to find something. It's been interesting to find something that I am so excited about with sales. And I've been noticing in my conversations with my parents, they are amazing. Whenever they introduce me at like family events, it's like, she's a doctor. And I'm like, ah. But I love sales. Can I be a high ticket sales professional? And I just had dinner with them on Monday, and it felt like a little bit of a breakthrough where my dad went coffee and he met somebody who was retired, and he had retired from 25 years of sales. And he was like, yeah, it was the best career. I got to do X, Y, and Z. And my dad's a very personable person. He's like, I got his number if you want his number to talk to him, because I know you like sales. So because of that, I know that this is a large part of my projection about the acceptance that I think I need from them. And I'm open to feedback, which is probably why all of this is coming up.
Yeah, we can fix it. You want to go there?
Yeah, 100%.
It's a lot simpler than you think it is. So this will be pretty quick. The evolution for you in this realm, in this regards, as far as the phase 1, phase 2, I need a longer line, phase 3 and phase 4, the you versus you, which will give you an insane amount of relief when you realize this and get through it. The current version of you, which is why you're in so much pain, is in what's called duality thinking. And so the reason that you're putting in so much force, not power, force, to try and fix the situation, and it's neither fixing it fully, equally exhausting you by the emotions that you're carrying, is because you're seeing things with duality, which is one of the things that you will learn about in the Bible library. And the duality that you're seeing is you will either have acceptance or non-acceptance, both of yourself, which is a reflection of the acceptance or non-acceptance that you see or don't see from your parents, based on if you can line up, they accept you as a doctor and you accept that they view you through the lens of a doctor, or you're seeing it as I need to get them to fully accept me not as a doctor, whereas the higher level version of you will be living in a realm, I'm typing the wrong thing here, non-duality, which means both and, both comma and, meaning you will be able to see that you can be seen through the lens of a doctor by your parents, and you can self-love yourself irregardless of the fact that they view you through the lens of Dr. Chloe. Whereas right now you're viewing it as like, it has to be one or the other. Like I have to either get them to accept me and love me fully as a salesperson, or I have to accept their frame. So you're like, I either pull them into my frame or I go into their frame. And that's why you're in this like, fuck, it's like their frame or my frame. What about if it was both of your frames? What if there was a reality where you can love sales and they can love you for being a doctor? And you're like, whatever. The fact that those two things aren't the same thing, they can coexist. They love you for being Dr. Chloe. You love yourself for being salesperson Chloe. They're both different. So, and the only way that you'll be able to get to this is where you spiritually transcend from duality. And you see that reality is non-duality, which, by the way, is the same as someone being able to realize quantum physics and or parallel universes. The person that doesn't realize that a particle can be in two places at the same time is in duality. Well, it can't be in two places at the same time. Yeah, it fucking can. Just like your parents can love you as Dr. Chloe, the doctor, and you can love yourself as salesperson Chloe. Why do they have to both be the same? You're telling yourself they have to be the same because of your paradigm. Your paradigm is a duality-based paradigm. Therefore, they have to be the same. Either I step into their frame or they step into my frame. Give you a sales example. It's why on a sales call, we can still view our prospects as good people, despite the fact they're lying and rationalizing and making excuses. We're living in non-duality. Whereas typically an underdeveloped salesperson is like, well, I can love them and view them as good people if they're being honest with themselves, but if they're not being honest with themselves, then they're a bad person. No, they can be a good person and someone deserving of unconditional love despite the fact they're lying to themselves. It's why sales is a journey for spiritual enlightenment, because you transcend duality and you realize that there can be parallel universes all at the same time coexisting, just as there can be particles coexisting in different places at the same time, just as there can be no such thing as time, past, present, and future, because all times exist at the same time. Everything exists all at the same time in every different way. You can't come to that realization if you have duality-based thinking. So your big journey is spiritual transcendence of paradigms. Does that make sense?
100%. Yeah. It reminds me of my mentor for Huna, his mentor shared a story, or he shared a story of being at dinner with his mentor, and very big in Hawaiian culture, founder of one of the biggest hula competitions or events in the world. And someone came up to his mentor and was like, "Oh, you're that performer, you're that musician." And my mentor, Matt, was like so enraged by this person just not acknowledging his mentor as who he really was. And his mentor was like, "Why are you mad? Like, to that person, I am that, and that is perfect. I don't need to be anything else." And it reminds me of this instead of being attached to who I think I need to be for my parents or anyone else. It's just being able to operate from a paradigm where I can't control who I am in their stories of whatever that might be. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. Yeah, if we
And
visualize.
I was
Yeah, go
exactly
ahead.
thinking it about that movie, Kim. One of my favorite fucking movies. Everything, everywhere, all at once. Yeah.
If we look at it to caricature it, this is your parents, and this is you over here. Amazing drawings here. And your parents are like, wow, our daughter, Chloe, oh, Chloe,
It's okay.
the doctor. And as they're saying this, they are saying this with so much love and sending all of this love to you. Wow, our incredible daughter, Chloe, the doctor. And you're like, no,
I get mad.
you're sending me love in the wrong way. They're sending you love the way they know to send you love. They're proud of you as a doctor. They're still sending you love. Instead of you being like, no, that's not the way I want to receive your love for that thing. Just be like, wow, my parents love me. I know I'm not that interested in being a doctor, but whatever. Who cares? It's simply a little bit more of who cares? Letting go. Surrender. Make sense?
Deeply.
How'd you feel?
Seen, heard, grateful.
Awesome. All right. Adam, what's up?
Hey, what's up? I have a question. How do you go about going from two, which is old dog, new tricks, to new dog on the long run? Because sometimes I would try to change my old identity, try new tricks, but I go too high, which I do all the work and I put a lot of effort into it. And then after a few months or weeks, I would go down into the effort and never actually reach the new identity thing. I don't know if it makes sense.
That's what I said, is you can't do it for a few weeks. It's months or years. It's just not quitting. It's not going from this is my old way of behaving to this is my new way of behaving, and I'm going to do that for a few weeks or a few months so long as it works. And then it didn't work after a few weeks or a few months, so I'll go back to my old way. What this whole training is about in principle is, well, how about you do it for 12 months or 24 months, despite the fact that you're not seeing the external change? Why does it have to be that way? Because how do you know that you've changed on the inside when you're doing it for you, not for something happening on the outside? And when you actually click through that, it's like, oh, I'm actually doing this thing because it's who I am. I don't actually really care if I get the results on the outside anymore. And then all of a sudden, you'll get the results on the outside.
Okay, makes sense. Thanks.
You're welcome, brother. Dylan, what's up?
Hello. So one of the things that stood out to me when you're like, there's this one thing that will kind of stand out to you as I'm here speaking to be, the thing that you need to address in terms of your truth. And for me, it was for sure communicating in a way that is kind of seeking validation. Literally on my prequel checklist, the first thing is like, I speak my thoughts clearly. Just because I find it difficult at times to to do that, right? And a part of it is I spent a lot of time trying to improve my just vocabulary. I listened to for many years, listened to Jordan Peterson, and you know what his vocabulary is like. It's insane, right? And so literally trying to add loads and loads of words to my vocabulary over time, one word at a time. But I find myself, kind of constantly like seeking the right word, and then it takes me longer to communicate. So I guess it's just, and again, this hasn't been a matter of weeks or months, it's been years, years and years and years. So I just don't, it's like, I don't know how to get the right balance between obviously, having it come from a place where it's just natural and not overcompensating.
I got it. It's terrible handwriting. Yeah. So I'm not going to answer your question directly because I can't. But what you have to realize is that there is no physical possibility where you can do the right thing in the right way and it's going to take years and years and years and years. That's not how reality creation works. So it has to be that you're working on the wrong thing or you're working on the right thing in the wrong way, meaning not enough effort or you're doing it inconsistently. It's like the unicorn equation for excellence. Massive action plus mentorship plus time equals excellence. It's a fucking equation. It's mathematical, meaning it cannot not work. If you are actually changing who you are and you stick to that for a period of time, your reality will change. You will change, your reality will change. And that period of time, by the way, guys, for a certain area of your life, not every, you're not going to become a bazillionaire in 12 months. But I would say 12 to 18 months of actually consistently locking in on something, you will transform internally. Could be 6 months, could be 12, could be 18, but let's say ballpark 12 to 18. If you've actually done massive action, plus been guided in the right things and done that for 12 to 18 months, it's impossible that you haven't changed. So I'm answering your question saying there must be something you're doing wrong. I don't know what that is. You're going to have to sit and journal on that. If you actually have done this for years and years and years and years and years, you're either working on the wrong thing or you're not putting enough action into it, or you have done it for years, but it's been on, off, stop, start, backwards, forwards, 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, or you haven't actually been getting the right guidance for how exactly should you be executing this. Where's the line between massive action and not massive action? Well, a great question. I would say if someone looks at you and they're not like, you're fucking crazy, then it's probably not massive enough. If some people don't look at you and think you're bonkers, it's action slash a bit of action slash medium action. You should have some haters, folks. Otherwise, you're not going hard enough. Your friends should be like, oh, you're kind of not cool anymore, dude. Like, you're always doing those fucking cool reviews. People are like, what the fuck? You've spent $30,000 to be in the mastermind for 15 months and you still don't make 100K? Yeah, and I'm going to do another 6 months. What? That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, because I know if I stick to this and I do it and I actually transform, I'm going to hit 100K months and become the person. Like, just based on statistics, if any of you know this, the bell curve. If you're here, which is like the 0.1%, what that means is that everybody else is here, meaning they are the 99.9%, which just based on maths means 99.9% of people think you're the weird one. You're probably going to hear it. It's not going to like not come back to you. In fact, you might even be like, hang on, I'm over here and everybody else is over here. Am I the weird one? Hence identity crisis. If you don't have a large portion of your life feeling like you're the outsider, then you're the insider. Insider meaning not massive action. You're either on the inside, and by inside, I don't mean inside the mastermind. I mean, you know, the normies, or you're on the outside. And if you're on the outside, you're going to know about it. If you're on the inside, you're not going to know about it. This is what we mean by the definition of the matrix. They're so plugged in, they don't even know they're plugged in. When you're unplugged, you're like, oh, I'm unplugged. I know I ain't in the normies. You know. And so if you have to ask the question, it's like, yeah, you're not doing enough. It might not just be time or enough action on sales training, but there are not enough things where you are the radical outsider. And I'll go back to what I said at the start of this training. You don't have to be the radical outsider. Just don't fucking lie to yourself that you want the results of being the radical outsider when you don't want to be the radical outsider. It's not normal to make $100,000 a month in commissions as a high ticket closer selling fucking 15, 20, 25, 30K products. It's not normal. It's abnormal. It's not normal to have fun selling. It's not normal to truly transform and transcend your identity. So if you say you want abnormal things, be an abnormal person. I don't ask anything of you, but that you're honest with yourself. If you're happy, truly, genuinely, honestly accepting of the average results of most people, that's fine. I'm totally fine with that. But are you totally fine with that? Or are you lying to yourself? I have one goal on a sales call, and I have one goal in this mastermind. Get all of you to be people of truth. What your truth is, I don't mind. No judgment. If your truth is, you know what, Josh, I'm actually pretty comfortable at 20K a month, and I'd rather just read a script because it's fucking easy. Don't have to do any inner work. Can just read a script every day. Don't have to think, don't have to feel, don't have to become. And I'm genuinely happy at 20K. That's awesome. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you that you're happy. But if you've already got on the inside of this mastermind, you were already on the outside and you were unhappy. So don't now try telling yourself that you're going to be happy going back on the outside. That's just rationalizing for, oh, it's harder than I thought it was going to be. Well, I've told you that now on this training. So now you know. Yeah, call it what it is. All right, let's keep going through these takeaways. Enrique, what's up?
Yeah, first weekly training, and
off we go.
Yeah, wow. It's exactly what I signed up for. Like I knew that there was going to be some intense truths, and like full transparency, like I am, or before coming in, was the old dog, new tricks. So I'm coming off the back end of another mentorship, which great people, not bad at all, and I learned a lot. But reading a script, following questions, following these word tracks, and I made money from it. But that whole idea of like the not getting fulfillment and not enjoying my sales calls, like I'd feel so drained, and I couldn't understand it because I'm like, I'm just following what's the next. Okay, next thing here, next thing here. Okay, I handled this part of the call, next part of the call. And so when I initially came across your content, and it just sort of popped up on my feed. It was like just one of those sorts of ads, and I'd followed all the different sales coaches and gurus and all that kind of stuff. But seeing that, and then going on to the YouTube content and seeing the sort of trainings that you shared and the role plays and some of the videos, and especially with my walk now in my own spiritual faith of really reconnecting with myself and my identity, at least as a Christian, right? It's what stood the most out to me. And then over the course of that entire week of going through the content, where more and more I was realizing like, hey, I mean, what is God telling me? And I was praying and pondering. And I remember when I made that as the checkout page, and I was about to click the button, and I felt that hesitancy and the rationalization of, oh, well, maybe you should wait a bit. Maybe you should wait till you have a little bit more money coming in. And that sort of rationalization right there is when I sort of caught myself. It's funny because I saw in one of the commandments with where it's like, take that 5 seconds where you get curious of why did that come up? And I didn't even learn the commandments at that point. And it just came up. And then that's where I took that sort of time. I was like, we got to do it. And that's where I clicked it. And as a Canadian, we have the Canadian conversion. So it's actually for us, I believe 41.37 a month Canadian for us to be part of this mastermind. But with that being said, the way that I saw it was that if I refused to make that investment and challenge my sort of old way of thinking and my old identity and just went on to something like, the free 97 a month or the, $100 a month sort of training, was I actually being truthful to myself in the form of becoming self-actualized and having internal mastery, or was I just doing what was easy and comfortable? So this was very uncomfortable for me to make that investment, but I know that if I want to be that person that I tell myself I am, and when people talk to me and they say, "Oh, who do you want to be, Enrique?" It's not just about saying those words and saying, "Well, I want to be the $100,000 a month commission maker, and I want to have all this and that." And obviously, I'm getting into the next phase of greatest mission of my life, which is the next section of the Launchpad, which I'm excited for. But I say that all to say that the biggest thing for me is learning how to put off that sort of ego of, well, I know what I'm doing and this makes sense, so I'm just going to do what I think is right for me, and having more of that self-humility. And I'd say that's my biggest takeaway from being involved in this first weekly training. And it's going to be a good reminder. This is a weekly training that I'll absolutely going to tell myself to refer back to when those doubts absolutely will come up, because it's not a matter of if, it's when they will, because it's going to happen. So that's what I had to say.
Great takeaway. Awesome. Drew, what's up?
Oh, what's up, man? This whole training has just really hit me in a place that I didn't want to be hit. I'm very uncomfortable sharing this right now, and I'm not somebody who typically gets uncomfortable. Just this whole conversation about the truth. That Carl Jung quote is one that kind of, when you brought that up, the question that I wrote down that I asked myself is, what's the one thing you don't want to admit to yourself about yourself? And I really don't want to admit it, which is, I rationalized putting my hand down like 20 times since I put it up. But I think the truth is, my whole life, since I was a kid, I've been someone who is just way too comfortable lying. And I've developed all sorts of different defense mechanisms and internal tactics to avoid the reality that that's the truth. But it is. And it's a really scary truth to confront. Because when I sit here and I think about it, it's like, how do you start telling yourself the truth if you've ingrained your entire identity into not doing that, into avoiding it? And even as I was sitting here kind of thinking about what to share, there's this part of me that's like, oh, share it in the way that, it's sounds good. Share it in a way where you get some kind of external validation, which I see is a big part of that identity, is just, as a kid, always feeling kind of insecure and just never really being comfortable with myself. So always wanting to project myself and project a version of me that other people are like, wow, you're the shit, you're awesome. And it's a really heavy thing to admit to myself. It feels really important and healthy to do so. Which is why I felt that I needed to share this. But yeah, man, I think what I'm asking for, the investment to me wasn't that big of a challenge. It's like, oh, it's $3K, cool, whatever. This is the challenge, which is actually wanting to be held accountable to a higher level of truth. And it's kind of, I mean, even saying it, it's it feels fucking kind of embarrassing to admit that. But that is
why is it embarrassing? Not in a personal level, but if you would, because you seem smart, if you abstract it, why does it seem embarrassing?
think it seems embarrassing because there's such a deep part of me that I feel like knows better. So it makes me feel silly. Like if I zoom out and I look at it, it's like
Why do you think you know better?
because I do. Like practically I know that the truth will set you free. And
But doesn't everybody?
yeah, I guess that's a fair point. I think it comes
What's the average human condition?
and not free.
There's this full circle where you're lying to be seen as superior to the average person, cooler, more awesome. But that's all coming from the fact that you're actually both looking at yourself higher and looking at other people lower, instead of realizing that we all suffer the human condition. I appreciate what you're sharing, and so does everybody. But although the context is slightly different, it's no different to everybody on this call, including me, and including things that had to transcend many years ago. So the answer is realizing that, yes, what you're going through is accurate, that you need to be honest with yourself, but not looking at it as like, well, I should know better because I know better. It's, well, you're just doing what everybody else does, which is going through a transformation of realizing we fucking lie to ourselves. The answer to all of this is humility. Whereas even though you expressed the honest thing of, I'm lying to myself, the reason you felt bad about expressing it and what you were doing still came from a place of a lack of humility. Of like, well, I should know better. Why should you know better? Nobody else fucking does it. Does this make sense? Like you've wrapped yourself up in your own knot.
Yeah.
Of like, I feel bad sharing it because I'm superior, that I should have known better.
Mm.
Well, no, you're just a human being like all of us that fucks up, and great, you realize that. Maybe now you can make this transition of like, oh, I'm just as good and just as bad as everybody else. And I accept that. And now I'm going to start elevating myself slowly but surely. Whereas if you can't make that shift from this to this, even if you express the truth, the sentiment behind your truth was untruth. Ironically.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No,
Which I did this training in Cabo recently where I said, the real thing that we should measure, and this is a spiritual law, is the essence of something. Not the thing. Oh, Drew's being awesome. He's being so courageous. He's telling the truth. That's awesome. But what's the essence of what he's saying? The essence is still untruth, which is why you've been stuck. To unstuck yourself, the essence of what you're saying has to be the truth, which is, oh shit, I realize that I shouldn't have known any better because I'm just a human being as fallible as everybody else. Now I've realized that and I've accepted that. I'm going to transcend that. You see how relieving that is?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's not as hard as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's relieving. It's also challenging because I think there is that part of me that's like, nah, but you're special. You're different.
Yeah, I know.
No,
and
it's super helpful, man.
Imagine how much harder that's going to make your life on your sales calls when that's your essence of like, no, I'm better. Imagine how much easier it is to conversely connect with someone empathetically, but also truthfully, also courageously, also challenging them when you've accepted you and we're just the same. As opposed to, well, I'm better than you. And then now I'm trying to use the challenging word track and do it in an empathetic way and be the old dog with new tricks, doing the techniques to get you to open up and admit your faults. Yet I still think I'm superior to you. As opposed to like, oh, I'm just a human being like you. And yeah, I fucking thought I was better, but then I realized I'm just a human being as ridiculous as everybody else. And I accepted that and I transcended it. You will automatically and authentically have the ability to communicate however you need to in real time with your prospects when you transcend that.
Fully received, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.
My pleasure. Captain Cody, what's up?
What's up? Like, just want to say, like, that was a really big eye opener for me. What you just mentioned with Drew of like not having this like high horse of like I'm better, because like I'll talk to my mom and she'll be like, I'll tell her about things I'm struggling with, and she's like, well, you're doing so good, like you're doing better than most people. Like, mom, you don't understand, I don't want to be most people. Like, I'm in this community where there's guys making 100K a month and like at a whole nother level where I want to be. Like, I want to be that, I don't want to be most people. So it's like these mistakes that I'm doing or these things that I'm not doing is not at the standard I want to live life. And I kind of like be like, I'm not like most people, bomb, like, but realizing that that's just like the human condition is a good eye opener. A
Let me just
question
pause you
though.
on that. We'll come to your question in a minute. You may have already realized this, so if you have, apologies for spoon feeding you. That situation with your mum is exactly the same as Dr. Chloe's with her parents. And I've been through that one with myself, where I'm like, my mum and my dad don't get that I'm not happy with my current level of identity and income and blah, blah, blah. And I was just like this all the fucking time with myself. Because I'm like, I want my parents to love me as I become more successful. I don't want them to love me as I currently am, because that's making me feel worse, and all this fucked up, masochistic, all sorts of weird shit going on there. And then I realized, just like I explained to Chloe, which is how I can say it to Chloe because I've been through it myself. It's not the word track, it's I've done it. I've done this stage of the process, so I can just tell you how it works. Same thing for you. It's you want to make more money, and your parents love you as you are. And it's both and. It's not, well, I'm only going to appreciate my parents' love if they love me understanding my point of view. No, it's love them with their point of view, which is their point of view is it's perfectly fine to make as much money as you make right now, and you're already doing awesome. And at the same time, you want more. And when you realize that you can have these two different realities simultaneously and they don't have to always match up, your relationship with your parents will be better, and your relationship with yourself will be better, and your ability to help other people through this, like I'm helping you and Dr. Chloe, you'll unlock that ability because you've actually transcended it yourself. Okay. What was your question?
Yeah, I appreciate that, Josh. It's very, very insightful. In terms of that, in that process of becoming that like higher version, ascending and going to that thing, I feel like there's like a million things I have to work on to become better. So from there,
You got a whole
like,
lifetime, bruv.
yeah, of course. What I struggle with is like knowing, like, because you said it can take anywhere from like 12 months and beyond to fix like one issue that you're dealing with. So from there, when you have all these different things that you're becoming aware of as you get older, how do you know to prioritize one thing over the other? And how do you know if what you're doing to work on that thing that is flawed, if the work you're doing is actually improving, if it can take 12 months to actually see that difference? Like, that's a loaded gun, but that's what I struggle with a lot.
It goes back to the original point of do the work for the work's sake, not for the external results. And then all of a sudden you'll stop counting the days and watching the clock, and then things will just start. You'll wake up and you'll be like, holy shit, I live in an awesome house. I didn't even really know where that came from. It just fucking popped up. Whereas right now you're still looking at it too linearly of like, well, is this the thing that will do it the quickest, or is this the thing that will do it the quickest? And yeah, there might be some things abstractly that can do it quicker, so you should work on those things. But so long as you're working on something that's an internal evolution, that's all you should really be focusing on. Don't overanalyze it. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Rayanne?
Yes, I've got
Yep.
another one.
Go for it.
So in your experience, so the biggest thing right now is humility. And this is so synchronistic because I've been writing about this for the last week. And so what is the one thing or like an exercise that I can start to practice with more humility? Because if I were to do it my way, it's clearly, we go back to doing the thing, or what's that, like for the wrong test or whatever that analogy was. So I'd like some feedback there.
I think one of the things that I realized with humility was that you can be happy and have fun and have joy in the moment. But what you're always doing if you're on a journey of growth is solving problems. You're not going and having fun per se. You're having fun whilst you're solving problems. And so that ties into humility, because humility is realizing that you need to make improvements. And the greatest humility is realizing that it's only working on improvements that you need to be doing. Like, there's no just sitting there and doing something randomly. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't sit and watch a TV show to relax per se, but your compass, if you imagine a compass, north, south, east, and west, your compass is always pointing at what's the problems. What are the problems right now? In other words, the obstacles. In other words, the growth opportunities. And the greatest humility is to realize that if your focus is not always pointed to what's the thing to work on right now, which is a problem, something that's not working, then you are lower down on the scale as far as humility. So it's this kind of new operating system of just constantly looking for the thing to fix. And for a lot of people, that's like, well, I don't want to just be looking at problems. Well, why not? Well, because that's tiring, that's not fun, that's exhausting, that's negative. But you can spin that solving problems, number one, can be done in a way where you're actually enjoying the mission of solving the problems, but you can also be in a state of happiness whilst you're solving problems. But humility versus not humility is a spectrum of, are you looking at things that are not broken, or are you looking at everything that's broken, not working, not at the level that you want it to be? Humility is radically shifting the dial to, I'm just always looking at something to work on, something to improve. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Simon, Pedro Pascal, what's up?
What's going on, Josh? I'm kind of shitting my pants a little bit talking in front of everybody, so maybe you can dig into why. But
not into pants, no.
I just wanted to share, whenever you asked, like, what's the biggest untruth that you don't want to face? I noticed this in a conversation with my mom a couple of weeks ago. We were talking, and she always results in, like, leaning towards all the reasons why she can't do something, why she can't be this person that she wants to be. And
it will keep happening because it bothers you. It's the same thing. We've done it 3 times. You're the third person. You will get these things in your life because they bother you. When you become the person that it doesn't bother you, they will either not happen or they will happen and it doesn't bother you. What you're seeking is for the thing to not bother you. Whereas what you think you're seeking is for the change. What you think you're seeking is for the thing to not happen, for the storm to not be there. But what you're actually seeking is calm, and you're making the mistake of thinking, well, I'll have calm when there's no storm. But no, you'll have real, permanent calm when there is a storm, and you find calm inside of yourself, inside the storm. So the change is the same as the ones we've done, which is you get to the point where it doesn't bother you that your mum says this or thinks that or does this in this way. And when it doesn't bother you, it will either disappear or your experience of it that's negative right now will disappear. It's the same thing. This is your internal journey. Your hero's journey is to get to the point where you take your control inside of you of how you get bothered by things or not get bothered by things.
Yeah, whenever you said that you are just as good and just as bad as everybody, that kind of struck a chord, because it's not just with my mom. Like, when I get in we'll call it a phase, because it used to be a phase of self-improvement, like radical self-improvement, like fucking throwing away the expensive coffee maker or whatever. Shitty example, but I start judging everybody that's not trying to improve themselves. And then I just see, like, I start seeing all the patterns that people repeat over and over of, like, ruining their lives, and it bothers me. And so it's like, it gets to a point where it's everywhere. So what do I do to help let go of it all bothering me, if that makes sense?
It's the same as Dr. Chloe. It's the paradigm shift of realizing that, like, why does it matter? It only matters because you allow it and choose it to matter. Like, give me a logical reason why it actually matters what your mum says or thinks or believes.
For me, with my mom specifically, it's that I know that she's in this really bad place, like mentally. And because she doesn't choose to change it, she's going to stay in that bad place.
Correct. She's chosen to not change it. Accept it.
But
Sounds hard.
if I become a person who's self-actualized, will I ever be able to change her so that she can kind of like you mentor everybody in the group?
Do I have a sales call to bring people in here?
Fuck.
People that happen to be here. Great example that you just gave of like, well, what about you mentoring people? Like, did you not go on your journey so that you could mentor people and help them and bring them with you? Fuck no. I went on my journey because I wanted to be fucking rich. Just happened to then get asked to start training people. And I was like, fuck's sake, do I have to? No, I'm just kidding. I never decided to start a mastermind when I went on my journey. Didn't even ask to be a sales trainer. People just started asking me, can you train me? I was like, yeah, okay, fine, whatever. It's the same spiritual enlightenment of realizing that, like, you go on your journey, and as you change your frequency on the radio station, the people that are going to come to your life and the people that won't will be the people that are meant to or not meant to. Your mum changing her life might happen. It might not happen. But you holding yourself in a holding pattern of, should I do my self-actualizing? Well, depends if it's going to help my mum or not. It's like, no, you do your self-actualizing if you want to, because you want to do your self-actualizing. And let the chips fall.
So the mom example is like the biggest one, but in terms of like other people, what I find myself doing is like becoming fucking reclusive sometimes. Like I just don't want to deal with other people's shit. Cause I just like they say something and it bothers me. I'm like, why are you fucking saying that? Just fix it.
No. Why are you bothered about being a recluse? Again, language, guys. I'm listening to what Simon said, and I'm like, he's still focused on the other people. You can't transcend when your focus is outside of you. You can only transcend when your focus is inside of you. Who cares if you're a recluse? I got one fucking friend, and it's not At this chapter in my life, it is what it is. If I'm meant to have more friends in the future, I'm meant to have more friends in the future. If I'm not, I'm not.
Fuck.
Old dog, new tricks. Old dog had lots of friends, or had more friends, had maybe a more of a alignment with your mum because you hadn't changed your standards. You've got the new tricks of like, well, I've got my new standards, but you're still the old dog that's like, yeah, but I've got the new trick of being a recluse, but I'm the old dog of wanting a social circle. Well, go back to being the old dog and drop the new tricks or become the new dog. The new dog is a different version of you that clearly doesn't have the same relationship with your mum that you used to, doesn't have the same relationship with your friends or friendship circle that you used to. Decide, do you want to go back left on the diagram or do you want to go forward right? But right now you're in conflict because you're stuck in the middle. Old dog, new tricks.
Yeah, I get it. You just have to decide.
And to be clear, no right or wrong. Doesn't make any difference to me. If you want to have a social circle, have a social circle. But then that version of you that had that, is that where you wanted to be? If the version of you that you're stepping into and heading further towards is the one that you actually want to go, and the quote unquote consequence is that you don't have a social circle, it is what it is. This goes back to letting go of like not trying to control everything. The ego is like, but I thought it would be like this. I thought I would become a better version of myself and I'd be the fucking bee's knees and I'd have a load of cool friends. Well, clearly didn't work out that way. You accept it or you don't accept it. I thought when I make a load of money, I'd have a smoking hot girlfriend. I then realized, being under UM's mentorship, I'll probably be fucking celibate for the rest of my life. I was like, oh shit, that's not what I thought was going to happen. Because if you don't know, that's UM's path on life right now. And possibly forever. I was like, fuck. It's not what I thought it was going to be. I thought I'd have 16 wives. So if I have enough money, then I can be the shit. Didn't work out that way. And it's like, you choose the inner transformation that you truly want, not necessarily the outer certain specifics that are going to come with it. And you have to decide, what do you really want? Do you actually want the external thing, or do you want the internal becoming of who you've become? Quinn, sup?
Josh, I honestly don't know what my question is going to be, but everybody has been super vulnerable on this call, and I kind of wanted to just express kind of what I'm going through and get your perspective on it. So I had well, first of all, your last call on leveling up your standard really hit home for me, with kind of what I've been tolerating in terms of income and just my, I guess, my level of, what I tolerate. And so I've been transitioning into a new offer currently. And had something happen yesterday with my wife. I spoke with my wife yesterday. We had a deep conversation, and she just pretty much told me she doesn't really care what I say anymore, because I've been saying that I'm going to figure this out for so long and I haven't, that she really just doesn't want to hear it. And it was actually like the best thing she could have said to me, because it woke me up. It was like my turning point. Now I'm a little bit struggling in terms of the belief in myself, and just like having the faith to like keep going, especially as I transition into this new offer. A lot of things up in the air right now, and I don't even know what my question is. Just wanted to get your feedback on, I guess, how to navigate this, and what your mindset would be, kind of going through this.
What exactly are you navigating?
I'm leaving the current offer that I'm on, and I'm transitioning to a new offer. I'm in the middle of that right now. I have a baby that is coming in June, baby girl. So I'm having my second child, and I'm navigating this place where 4 months ago I was supposed to be making more and more money so that I would be in a good place financially for my family. And I feel like I've been letting them down and myself down. And now I'm at this place where I have 2 months in my mind to really like turn this around, and I guess that's what I'm navigating.
If you did everything that you know you could and should do you think you can turn it around in the 2 months that you've got?
Yes.
So just do everything. What is there to navigate?
That's a good point. Follow-up question to that. I fall into this trap a lot of what do I need to learn, or what do I need to, I seek for like the next thing, the next book, the next thing to learn about, the next thing to study. And then I end up not like staying focused in the moment on like, just do the thing. Does that make sense? Or is it more of just like, hey, forget about getting more information, just focus on what you have to do right now? I don't know. Is there a balance between that as well? I feel like I get stuck in my head with, I have to learn more.
Are you referring to more information that's outside of this mastermind?
Not necessarily, no.
Okay. Well, yes, you need more information, because the information that you had previously resulted in the income that you were earning, which wasn't the amount that you wanted it to be or needed it to be. So yes, you need more information, but just get a piece of information, apply it. Next piece of information, apply it. Next piece of information, apply it. What I'm not clear on, and again, talking about use of language, is like, it's kind of like if I gave you a coloring book that was color by numbers, and you said, Josh, I'm struggling to navigate it, I'd be like, I'm confused. Like, get the green pencil, fill in number 1 with green, get the blue pencil, fill in number 2 with blue, or whatever the instructions are. So I'm not saying you're wrong that you can't navigate it. What I'm saying is what you're saying with what I'm seeing doesn't add up right now, because you're in a mastermind that lays everything out week by week, has a weekly Wednesday and a weekly Friday training where you're going to learn things, and you should be applying the things you've learned. And you said, if I do all of that for the next 2 months, you think you can get the result that you need. So what are you confused on navigating it?
I think I'm just scared. Scared that it won't work out. Scared that.
Okay, fine.
I'm spending all this money to essentially not get any better.
Okay, fine. We're closer now. Why then did you say if you did do everything, you think it would work out?
I want to believe that, and
Well, you said I want to believe it, which means you don't believe it. So what part don't you believe?
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know. I don't know.
There's three variables. You don't believe it could happen in the time frame, and therefore, if the time frame's the time frame and it's going to fuck you up if you don't get there in the time frame, may as well not bother. You don't believe that what we teach in here can get you there in the time frame, or you don't believe that you can be the one to do the learning, get the information, do the applying. Which one of those three is the issue, or it could be multiple?
I think it's just belief in myself.
Okay. Do you see what I'm doing, guys? Like, I'm just like, this is just very logical. This is a discovery. There's nothing complicated about what I'm doing. You said this, you said that. Those two things don't add up. What's the issue? Okay, I think it's this. I think it's actually fear. Okay, cool. What are you afraid of? I'm afraid of this. Okay, what specifically? I don't know. Well, here's some options. Which one is it? So you said yourself. Great. You're afraid of yourself from what? That you wouldn't do the work, or that you would, like, what are you afraid of in regards to you?
I just don't want to let my family down. And I don't know. It's just fear of, I
But
guess it's
would you let
taken.
your I hear you. Would you let your
Yes.
family down, though, if you did everything that you know you need to do?
No. Wouldn't.
So again, I'm not clear on what you're struggling to navigate. You don't want to let your family down. Beautiful. You've got an amazing motivator. If you do everything that you know you need to do, you won't let your family down. So do everything that you know you need to do. Don't let your family down. And hey, presto. I'm still confused what you're struggling to navigate.
I think it's just, I think you're right. Just truly going all in. I still don't think I've done that. And that's the part that makes me nervous. But that is the only way that.
Why does having not gone all in the past make you nervous about what you could choose to do in the future? Why? Does your past define your decisions today?
No, but I do look at the past and kind of think to myself, well, why haven't I done it already? I guess.
But how is that benefiting you? How about, okay, what do I need to do now moving forward, rather than, oh, let me fucking guilt and shame myself of what I didn't do in the past. Same thing that I said to Drew, brother. This superiority complex of, like, I should have done better. I should have known better. You're a fucking human being like we all are. There's loads of shit that I should have done sooner that I didn't do sooner. So do you want to? And are you going to do it now or not? That's the only thing that you need to navigate.
Yeah.
Rather than this, like, I should be fucking Superman that did it all perfect at the right time, in the right place, in the right order. Well, maybe you're Superman, but I'm not. I'm a human being. I fucked up. I fucked up loads of shit. Do you want to keep fucking it up and just make it worse? No. Then don't do that. But right now you are. Right now you're fucking it up because you're looking in the past. As opposed to just, today's today. I need to show up to my live call like I did today. Be vulnerable. Ask for mentorship. Ask questions. Seek accountability of being on the group call, saying what I'm going to commit to my family, and continue to put one foot in front of the other every single day moving forward for the next 2 months. That's all you've got to navigate. Just making life worse on yourself and making life harder on yourself, and unproductive on yourself as well, because the past is the past.
Absolutely. Thank you. That was perfect.
Why was it perfect?
Because it's powerful knowing that I can change right now and be all in and put the effort in, and knowing that I know that it will work out if I do those things. And it is not serving me to look in the rearview mirror at my past failure or my past self not being where I would want it to be, because today I can decide to put in the work to become that person 2 months from now.
When are you going to make that decision?
Right now.
And what happens in a few weeks or a few months when you're tempted to look in the past again and beat yourself up over the past?
I'm going to give myself that grace, but also I'm going to know that I've come a lot farther because of the work that I put in over the next 2 weeks. And I've gotten better along the way, not always looking at, where I think I should be.
So how does your confidence feel now and your certainty that you can solve your challenge over the next 2 months?
So much better.
Do you see that, guys? I'm tying it down. It's not, okay, he said we got to the answer and I did some perfect discovery. Why did I need to tie it down, guys? Let's see, for those who've been here a while, what you've learned. Why did I need to tie it down? 4 tie downs. Exactly, Fiona. If someone has showed up in a certain way and you create the transformation that they now show up in a different way, it is unethical and not leadership to just leave it there. They've been a certain way for months and weeks and years. And then you'd make a transformation. You go, okay, cool. My job's done. Off we go. No. They have more history of an old way than they have tie downs to a new way. So you have to tie it down. Okay, what was perfect about it? Okay, that makes sense. Why? Okay, well, what about now? Well, now I'm going to do this. When are you going to do that? I'm going to do it right now. Even more ethical. Well, what about if in a few days or a few weeks or a couple months you start having doubts again and looking in the past? No, because now I know that I can do this, this, and this. And you hear that Quinn didn't just have a realization, he had a self-realization. The difference is that I didn't give him the answers for him to carry forward my answers. I enlightened him internally, which means he now has the answers inside of him, which means that in a few days, in a week, in a month, when he does have doubts, he has new information. He's a new version of himself. Does this make sense? Same thing that you have to do on a sales call. Can't just handle someone's rationalization. They say, oh, yeah, I feel much better now. I've figured it out. Yeah, you've given me clarity. Okay, cool. Let's roll into my pitch. No, because 50% chance they won't buy, or 50% they do buy, and then into the program, they have a bad day, which is normal. Again, I've said to 4 of you now on this call, we're human beings. And when they have a bad day, they then request a refund. That was your fault. That blood is on your hands because you didn't ethically tie the person down to give them all of the tools that they need, not to join your program because that's selfish, to have success in the program because that's caring about them. You wanting them to join the program is caring about you. I want the person to have success. So I'm going to do what I need to do to set them up for success. Notice how my principles drive my questions, my tonality, my conversations. It comes from my principles. It doesn't come from tactics. It's, okay, Quinn was stuck. I've got Quinn unstuck. I need to make sure I keep Quinn unstuck. And that, well, actually, let me get that accurate. That Quinn can keep himself unstuck to solve the challenge that he had. All right, folks. Hopefully that was helpful today. Remember that you are welcome to leave. If you aren't going to actually lock in, there's very little point in you being here, because this isn't a mastermind where I'm trying to get as many people in the mastermind or keep as many people in the mastermind. It's a mastermind about the truth. It's a mastermind about, if you want to be here, I am not going to lower the standards, lower the truth of like, yeah, you might fucking do it in 6 months. I'm not going to lower anything to increase the amount of people that join the mastermind or increase the amount of people that stay because I've lied to you. The truth of what it's going to take for why you signed up is what I've laid out in this training. If you've changed your mind, totally cool. No problem. No refunds, but totally cool. You're welcome to leave. But if you choose to stay from now on, I invite you to do so through the truth, which is, it's going to be hard. It's going to take a while. But what I can absolutely guarantee you is if you get to the other side, you can hit $100,000 a month or more in commissions. You will be self-actualizing yourself. You will have fun selling. selling will be meaningful for you, and you will develop the abilities that you've seen me develop, because I wasn't born with these abilities. I developed them over the 17 months that it took me from taking my first ever sales call to getting to $100,000 a month 17 months later. We have other closers in the mastermind that have stuck it out, that have done it. I want as many of you to do that as possible, but I'm not unaware that the numbers are against me. The probability is it will be a minority number, but I'd love to see it that 6 months from now, instead of having 5 of us, including me, that have all hit 100K, it will be 10 or 15 or 20 of you. And the best thing I can offer you as mentorship to have the highest likelihood of that number being as high as it can be is the truth that during that period in the tunnel, phase 3, you versus you, it's going to be you versus you. I'll be here to help you. will be here to help you. You've got the support, the community, the training, the mentorship, but it's going to be you looking in the mirror every single day saying, I want to quit, and not quitting. That's the best training I can give you to increase the likelihood that the highest number of you get to the other side of that, is being aware of the 100% truth, what that's going to look like. Hopefully none of you are like still unsure that I would tell you to leave the mastermind for my own benefit. It doesn't make any sense. Telling you this because I want you to succeed. Just like on a sales call, when the prospect says, is there a guarantee, or is it going to be easy? No, there's no guarantee, and it's going to be pretty difficult. If you want to, you can just stay where you're at. No, even though it's difficult, I appreciate you being honest, and I'm going to do it because where I'm at isn't where I want to be. It's how you sell someone. The truth. No word tracks. Okay? All right, folks. Have a good rest of your day. I'll see y'all inside the mastermind. Bye. All right. There you have it. The spiritual side of sales. The hero's journey, or heroine's journey if you're a female watching this. If you are in high-ticket sales, you have 2 paths. You can go on the path of earning less money and memorizing word tracks and being handed a script. And I'll tell you straight up, as you've seen in this video, in the short run, it will be easier because you don't have to transform, you don't have to become someone different, you don't have to learn to understand people, to communicate, you don't have to actually be present on your calls. That's your choice. Or path number 2, the harder path in the short term, is to actually go deep in who you are as a person, have an identity level change, have transformation, have transcendence of the current version of you that you are right now. And on the other side of that, I've taken 5 high-ticket closers to over $100,000 a month in commissions in earnings, each of them closing $1 million a month in cash collected. They all enjoy selling. They all find selling easy. They all truly serve their prospects. But the greatest gift of all is who they became on their hero's journey. Do you want to go on your own hero's journey? Is that what is meaningful for you? Is that the fulfillment and the purpose that you truly sought when you got out of whatever you were doing before you got into high-ticket sales? Yes, you wanted more money, you wanted more freedom, you wanted to not have to work in an office if that's what you were doing. But deep inside of you, and for all of the members inside the Unicorn Closer Mastermind, what you truly sought, what they truly sought, what I truly sought, was to become the best version of myself. Truly changing who I am as a person, realizing my full potential. And the way to do that is on the hero's journey, which is how the entire Unicorn Closer Mastermind is built and set up, is to help serve the small number of individuals, because the odds are 99.9% need not apply. The Unicorn Closer Mastermind is to serve that small number of individuals that is truly going to become a hero in their own life, in their own community, and to serving the people around them, or a heroine if you're a female. And that small number of people, you have the training, the support, 2 mentors, myself and my mentor, the underground mentor, the community, the environment, the standards of excellence, and most importantly, above anything else, you have the truth of what it's really going to take. If that is something that you align with, the truth, and the journey of becoming a hero in your own life through the vehicle of self-actualized selling. Below this video is a link to join the Unicorn Closer Mastermind. I'll see you on the inside, and I'll help you along your journey to become the hero, the heroine in your life, to earn life-changing money whilst enjoying selling, serving other people, and all doing that by becoming the next level version of yourself. Click the link below this video if that is you, and I'll see you on the inside.